This is not unique to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The original design of the M60 actually had wires to hold on to parts that it had. It is American design. They purposely did it to that so that the parts won't fall off when you fire it. No, so as you can see again, they were not really very clear on the GPMG concept. So although usually you're supposed to see pieces of wire holding two parts here, apparently this has been upgraded a little. You can't see them anymore. However, there's a little wire here to prevent these parts from separating on their own. Okay, so how many is that already? 4. Now another complaint was your feed cover. As you can see, the rest of the gun is black. However, the feed cover is white, silver. Why? Because this is steel and plastic. This one is made of aluminum. And as you can see, if you do a close-up, you can see dents, dings, and little imperfections, which usually happen to military weapons used hard. So what the Americans could have done here was use steel or thicker aluminum. Sometimes this turned out to be a very irritating design fault. Even this weapon, as you can see here, as you can see from the fib ramp, it has cracks already. This would not have happened if this was made of steel. Okay, so later versions again fix that. However, in this original version that we have here, it's there. Other design faults of this weapon are the sometimes you have problems with the plastic, like here. It would break off, but it's okay. It's not. It's more of cosmetic things, but sometimes it irritated the users. Okay, actually, I could go on and on about the problems of the M60. However, I hope you get an idea already. Other things that you cannot see had problems inside also. There were parts that you could, upon installation, install it wrong. However, you would not notice it until when you try to fire it, the gun would not function. Or the gun would fire one shot and not function anymore. Or the gun could fire and not stop firing. Okay, so later version, this is the first M60. The M60 E3 and E4 fixed most of that, to the point that the E4 is considered to be almost a perfect machine gun. However, by the time, the Americans did not like it anymore and changed it with another kind. Okay, so much for our M60. Various upgrades are being done for this weapon, and then ongoing upgrades, especially for the AFP, and they are getting better and better and better. However, we specifically requested for a original M60 to show you the defects of the original design. Our combat units now use basically an E3 version. Most of the faults have been corrected, although a few more were inserted. However, in this case, it just shows you that sometimes when you have to do something the first time, you most of the time don't get it right. Anyway, for what it was, for its few good points, it was a machine gun that worked most of the time. Anyway, okay, so much for the M60. We will now talk about the newest member of the AFP weapons family, the Korean K3. For the last weapon for this episode, we will talk about the latest addition to the armory of the AFP. Now, this family of automatic weapons are called squad automatic weapons, no? SAW, squad automatic weapons. These are supposed to be the base of the support fire for the squad in the infantry. The AFP has decided to purchase the Korean version of the SAW, the SAW, and this one is called the Daewoo K3, letter K and 3. This is a 16-pound weapon that fires from an open bolt and is gas operated. It is of 5.56 mm caliber, the same caliber as our M16. Now, the reason for using the same ammunition is to have a commonality of ammunition among all the members of the squad. Instead of some squad members having rifles, M16s, using 5.56, and then the machine gunner having a 30 caliber weapon, 7.62, the concept of the SAW is to use the same ammunition as that of the rifle, and that is the way it is here. The father of this weapon, the original design was made by Fabrique Nationale of Belgium. FN, no? The famous FN. This direct father of this was the FN Model 249, which was adopted by the United States Armed Forces as their squad automatic weapon. However, that is what we intended to adopt also. However, it is quite expensive. And while we would be able to buy a certain number, we would be able to get more of this, since I understand that the price of this is less than half that of the 249. A 249 purchase in the market now would go for around 300,000 or so each. This weapon was purchased by the Philippine government, 2,000 units in 2008 for 169,000 pesos each. And so far it has proven to be a very good and reliable weapon. Now, since this is still a new, just over a year in service, there have been no major complaints yet. And then let's hope it stays that way. And since it's new, you can expect this weapon to be around for the next 20 to 30 years. So much for the history. Let's go to the design. It is 16 pounds compared to your M60, which is 22 pounds. And so 6 pounds is a lot, means a lot to the infantryman. It's modern in that it has built-in the bipod. As noted, one of the main complaints of the 60 was that the bipod was attached to the barrel. In this case, they did it right. They put the bipod on the receiver. And then it's very ergonomic. You can carry it around with the bipod folded down and used as an automatic rifle. Okay? So if you need the bipod, all you have to do is squeeze, pull out, open. There. Immediately, you can drop down and use. Now, it has durable plastic handguards here. The barrel is exposed. There's nothing covering it, so to enable it to cool faster. And then it has a plastic handguard, plastic pistol grip, and plastic buttstock. And the buttstock has a support brace here to enable shouldering of the weapon when you are going prone, without the machine gun jumping off. However, if you use it like a rifle, you fold that down and lift it. Okay, again, here, an improvement from the M60, you still have the carrying handle. However, this time, in compared to the M60 having the carrying handle on the receiver, this one is attached to the barrel. If you have to change barrel, again, it follows the GPMG concept of quick change barrels. All you have to do is cock the bolt, flick a switch, and the barrel is out. Observe. The weapon is cocked. Now, notice that compared to your Browning, the bolt stays back. This is an open bolt weapon. No? It enables, although it is slightly less accurate than the closed bolt weapons like that, it enables this gun to fire more before failure starts to occur from ammunition cook-offs due to the heat. So, cock the bolt back. There's a switch here. All you have to do is press on the left side and barrel's out. Fast. Diba? Okay. Now, to return, reverse. Insert barrel. Press on the latch. There, it's in. Nothing could be faster than that. Okay, so once it's closed there, push the bolt forward. Hopefully you have loaded ammunition, and then you can fire. Now, this weapon is fed like most machine guns from this side. Here. There is a switch here that you press, and the feed cover opens. You can feed the ammunition from here. There. Again, for safety purposes, we will not load the weapon, just to illustrate. Close the feed cover, crack the bolt, and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, we will talk about the ammunition later. It's also interesting. Okay, so much for that. Once you load the ammunition, press down, slam, and it's ready to rock and roll.